What happens when you take the world of music and then put an ARG behind it? Truthfully, this is not a new concept. Probably the most famous case of these was by the group 9 Inch Nails, who made an ARG for their album Year Zero. But beyond that, there was also a very familiar recent one to any of you that are longtime viewers, that being Eroda. Now, we're not going to give an entire lesson of musical ARGs throughout history, though maybe that is something we could do someday, but the point is, these were mostly all ARGs to help promote albums for very famous artists. But tonight we have found a musically related ARG from a very unexpected place, that does not at all play out like any of these, that unexpected place being TikTok, where one of the single most strangest and interesting ARGs we have ever seen lies. This page is known as Ecology Home Stones. With a foreboding, seemingly confusing description, it seems to look like any other ARG, but as we'll see with the videos, this one truly is something else. As we go to the very first post on the page, it seems to show a baby's head whispering to the camera something that seems to be pretty unintelligible. Something else that is strange is the date between these initial posts. This post was from all the way back in early 2019, but when we go to the next post, we are all the way in January of this year, where things now will continue much more consistently. A very strange break in startup to have. In this post, it seems to depict some strange static coming from the poster's pedal, where whenever they press it, it just begins playing music. This trend would continue on quite often in the future, but one post would eventually happen that changes absolutely everything. On March 4th, this post would be made. The description says, "The throbbing remains of Robert 3 of 8, a carrot farmer." People naturally asked some really understandable questions, such as, "What?" To which the poster replied by saying, "Robert 3 of 8, a mutilated carrot farmer that functions as a visual aid for the live noise performances of Ecology Home Stones." Many other people asked what happened to the other 7, to which the poster replied in various ways, some of which by saying, "1 lives in a flotation tank, 2 and 4 I haven't seen before, they'll be around soon enough, and the other 7 will be around shortly." As the videos continue, we get to see more of whatever Robert 3 is and its behaviors. We see how it loves flower treats, and how it does this thing called decubing, where it spits out hard blue cubes. Truly, the thought put into the creatures in this world would rival that of Ridley Scott. The comments do continue to be extremely helpful, because the creator straight up answers every single question that people ask. One of the most notable ones ever had someone saying, "Seriously though, what is this thing?" To which they said, "EHS is retelling an unnecessarily vague and silly story about a gnome called Cheapskate obliterating 8 carrot farmers named Robert." This sounds ridiculous and almost like it could just be humor, but believe it or not, this is actually the case. Eventually, we get to know even more about Robert, and even how it works. I'm not sure if this is evolution or just us seeing it on camera for the first time, but we see Robert speak to us, talking about its lack of memories.
Didn't even know my mother's name, where I'd gone to school, the name of my best friend, whether I had an Aunt Emma or not, my religion, and if I'd ever owned a dog.
As the description shows, this is likely due to Cheapskate. And speaking of Cheapskate, there is a video of the creator attempting to summon Cheapskate in the woods, to no avail. We even see them playing Robert 3's mother lullabies to help it sleep, giving unexpected emotion and depth to the story here. It definitely fleshes out this all, if you catch my drift. Something else the creator makes extremely apparent is the fact that Robert 3 and all the other Roberts are sadly in an immense amount of pain this way, even simply existing. While it is great that they can live on and even aid in creating some amazing things, it is by no means painless at all. One of the most famous posts on the entire page shows the OP and Robert 3 playing piano together. In the comments of this one, they also mention that Cheapskate did this all the way back in 1778. One of the strangest videos on the entire channel has the OP answering a question from someone about what the liquid on Robert 3 was when he was decubing. Apparently it is called weeping venom, and this is what it does.
Now, I know this sounds silly, but Ecology Homestones is about carrots. Hopefully, this will make that clear for everyone.
Eventually, we finally get to see Robert V in his terrifying glory. In a future video, we get to hear him talk too, specifically about the gnome that destroyed his life.
Robert, man, I don't know what's real anymore. The little gnome f***ed my life up so bad. I don't know what's real anymore.
But then, after all this time, Cheapskate's house is finally found. But we can't see all of him, we can see a hand. Now he also takes the cube that Robert III made. What this means for the future of everybody here will be incredibly interesting to see unfold, that's for sure. Back to Robert III, we see that his defining process is beginning to produce darker cubes, and whether that is related to Cheapskate taking some of the previous or not is unknown, but it is nonetheless noteworthy. As far as the actual story goes, this is about as far as it has gone. As the page has said multiple times from the beginning, I suppose this is really a painfully slow retelling of such an out there story, but despite this, it is a really fascinating one and one of the most interesting ARGs I've seen in a while. Well, the answer seems pretty clear. On a different social media, the owner themselves laid out a more extensive description for what all of this truly meant, and it reads as follows.
EHS is an audio-visual noise project started in 2020 by NFPPC. Now, I know this sounds silly, but Ecology Homestones is about carrots. Hopefully this will make that clear for everyone. Beginning in 1778, a competitive gnome named Cheapskate initiated a campaign of torment upon 8 very sleepy carrot farmers, all of whom were coincidentally named Robert. This playful assault fell upon the Roberts and in the form of 8 violence-based challenges. The winner would be crowned as the Bride of Ouchie. For the rest, an eternity of unimaginable wickedness. Imagine a long wet floor of endless tile, the grout lousy with the innumerable crawling misfortunes of birthday. No one likes it. Secrets were kept. The true nature and rule structure of the gnome's competitions were a mystery to everyone but the gnome. Because of this advantage, and the gnome's 4 black peppercorn eyes which controlled the shape and temperature of salt, the gnome Cheapskate obliterated the Roberts. Now, at least 2 years later, or 3 or something, a different thing is happening, and it is tangentially related to that other stuff I said. You need to know this. Didn't your friends tell you? You see, there's something out to get you, and it's just as stupid as you are.
This gives better detail towards the story than we had before, but it also highlights an aspect we hadn't gotten into much yet, and that is the musical aspect. As you may have noticed, every single video features noisy sounds, and a lot of those early videos featured man-made instruments to make specific noises. At the end of the day, above everything, this is a musical project. These creatures all seem to be reactive to noise, and as we've seen from this musical project on footage from live shows, it looks like these things all appear in the live shows, almost like some horrific noise version of the gorillas. The music has an amazing level of talent on display, both visually and audibly. Truthfully, this really is the best combination of different mediums. You can see inspiration from a background in horror with these genuinely impressive practical effects, and the story itself. Though over the top and even ridiculous, it's told in a very effective way that somehow demands that we take a killer gnome named Cheapskate seriously, and that takes some skill to do. And as for the musical side of it all, though we haven't seen many music-related ARGs before, as we said, these were mostly just advanced and creative marketing campaigns. While this ARG is definitely effectively promoting the original music that this creator is making, it does seem to be more than just purely a promo piece. Overall, an ARG like this is one that I'm sure to keep my eyes peeled out for, to see where this interesting story goes next. The world that was created here is one that I surely won't look away from anytime soon, and I at least know that if I somehow get mugged by a gnome in the middle of the night, I'll be able to come back as a music star. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. If you like the channel, make sure to check out our social medias in the description below. Make sure to stop by our Discord, it is the best place to chat with us and hang out with fellow Debunk enthusiasts. Of course, if you'd like to support the channel, please head on over to our Patreon Debunk Plus. It's only $1 a month and you guys get access to videos early, script PDFs, whatever random stuff we decide to put up, and more. As always, my name is Sep from Debunk File. See you guys next time. Bye.